Here's how you can legally use images on the web. I know what you're thinking. Wait, people use images on the web all the time and they don't worry about whether it's legal. That's true. And people roll through stop signs and people run red lights and they don't always get caught. But if you do get caught, you could be surprised by the amount you have to pay. So it's always best to make sure you're using an image legally. And there are ways to find out. So let's start with Google. We can go to Google Images. And let's say we want to find pictures of people in the office. We say, okay, good, that's what I want. And then we look at these different pictures and we say, oh, this is a nice one. I like this one. I'm going to click on this picture. Business people in the office. And now I will visit the page of the person who created this. What's this? $79, $59, a web version for $39. And once I pay, then I can download? Now, I know you're thinking, well, people all the time right-click and just use the image, but they're not supposed to. And if the photographer sees them using the picture, they can be getting a bill that would come as quite a surprise. Okay, so what can you do so you're not surprised? Well, Google gives you an option. Go to Tools. And you can see here there's all kinds of options. And one of them is usage rights. So not filtered by license, labeled for reuse with modification. This usually means for free. Labeled for reuse, labeled for non-commercial reuse with modification, and labeled for non-commercial reuse. You can do a picture for this class labeled for non-commercial because you're not making any money off the picture, presumably, when you do your homework. If you have a website and you're trying to earn money on it, either it's monetized or you're selling something, that would be a commercial website and you would need to pay for the picture or else get one that someone didn't mind if you used it. So let's say labeled for non-commercial use with modification. And now you see you have some more options on what you can do. So let's click on this one. And this is Wikimedia. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but on the top of each of your websites, your blog sites, I gave you a Wikimedia Commons image. So those are freely available. So this one was made in the Netherlands. It's from Wikimedia Commons, and we can visit the page. So here we go. So Wikimedia, this particular people in the office picture, they have lots of different sizes. There's a description of when it was taken. The source is this person did the work themselves. Here's the latitude and longitude of where it was when the picture was taken. And here's the really important part. I, the copyright holder of this work, hereby publish it under the following license, Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike. You are free to basically use this picture. So if you use a picture on the web, you want to make sure someone has given it a Creative Commons license. That's one option anyway, and that will keep you in good shape. Well, what if you don't want to use Wikimedia Commons or you don't want to use Google? There's another option. In fact, there's many options, but let's look at one more. Another option is Flickr, flickr.com. And so you can put up here the picture you would like. And so let's say you want to find a picture of pets. So you click on pets. Now that looks a little different than Google, but you'll notice it's the same kind of concept. So you look at any license, all Creative Commons, commercial use allowed, modifications allowed. Modifications allowed, what does that mean? Think of memes. They've modified the original picture. No known copyright restrictions and U.S. government works. And by the way, one of the good things about paying taxes, if there is a good thing, is U.S. government work photography is freely available to us U.S. citizens. That's part of what our tax dollars pay for. So we can say, well, let's get a U.S. government works picture of pets. And gosh, they have some cute ones. So here's the Department of Defense has this one, the Department of State. So let's say, well, let's look at this picture. And you can see here a picture from the government. And here's where you can find some more information. So if you scroll down, by the way, here is where you would download it. Here's where you share it. Here's if you want to make this a favorite of one of your photos, and if you want a full screen version. But down here, here's the U.S. Department of State, They tell you exactly what this picture is. In fact, you can see how many views there are. And the United States government does a very thorough job. Here's one real nice thing. They tell you exactly what camera they used, the different settings. If you're a real photography fan, this can be very useful. And you'll notice, also important, there's nothing else here about what you need to say about this photo. Here we are at the end. There's nothing there about paying or about credits. If you want, you can use this picture freely. Now, before we got a picture from Google that led us to Wikimedia Commons, you can come to Wikimedia Commons directly. Just go to commons.wikimedia.org, and you can leave it off there and it'll take you here, but you can also do /wiki/main_page. And then in here, you can write, or rather click, and say what you would like to search for. So let's say we want to find a picture of Providence, Rhode Island. So then we come here to Providence, Rhode Island. We go down, we see we have some old-time maps. We have 19th century pictures. We have cityscapes. This one's pretty. Let's choose this one. So now here's a picture of downtown Providence. And if we scroll down, we see more details. So we click on more details. And now, here we go. It's download. Use this file. Email the link. Information about reusing. And we have different options on what size we download. We're told this is the Bank of America Tower. It's stored on Flickr. Julie is the photographer, and this is interesting. She's from Paris, and she came here to Rhode Island and took this picture. So you're thinking to yourself, well, that's great. I want to use this picture. I like it. What do I need to do? Well, here's one of the nice things about Wikimedia Commons. It makes life very easy. If you click on Download, all sizes, see the page URL, the file URL, and here's the attribution. If you want to use this, this is what Julie wants you to put underneath. You know when you see a picture and you have a caption. This is it. Just by and the Creative Commons license. So as long as you put this as the caption under your picture, you are fine, good to go on this, using this particular picture for no money. It's a beautiful picture and it's free. So that's what you want to do to keep yourself legal. When you look for an image, look for the fine print, and then you'll know how you should give credit or how much you should pay.